Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar from Definity. I am the founder and CEO of Definity. My name is Michelle Sutherland, and today this webinar is to help explain what is a B Corp, why is it important, what is the process of becoming a B Corp, and everything you need to know to help you understand the entire process. So I just wanted to share a few slides with you so that you can see what is involved and what we can do to help you if you are considering becoming a B Corp. So as you can see here, we are a purpose-driven change consultancy. So we do have a double mission. Essentially, Definity here is here to, one, empower businesses to be for the greater good. And we truly believe that becoming a B Corp and going through the business impact assessment and the process of becoming a B Corp and measuring your social and environmental impact in order to improve it will help you improve your business. You will be more mission-led, purpose-led, people-led, community-minded, and obviously caring for our planet. So that is why we choose to work with the business impact assessment that B Corp has, because we truly believe it's a framework and a blueprint for change and to help businesses move away from being so profit-driven to actually having more of a balance and really caring deeply about the impact that you have as a business. And the second part of our mission is we also want to empower young people to be for the greater good as well. So we've recognized, and I've recognized through my own personal experience that, sometimes a lot of the education system doesn't set our young people up for the world that we live in. And, they're going to inherit some of the world's biggest social and environmental problems. So we want to make sure they're educated and empowered and equipped with all of the information that we actually share with you as customers and businesses, as well as other things that we believe in life would help young people massively. So we do really focus on social entrepreneurship and B Corp and social enterprise for those young people, the same way that we do for you as customers. So what you'll see here is just a bit on the agenda, what I'm going to cover, a little bit about how Definity was born, why becoming a B Corp, our services and our pricing, and then just a little overview of our clients. So I won't spend too much time in this, but essentially in the middle of the global pandemic in June 2020, I found myself asking a couple of really key questions, which were, what more can I do for myself and my own well-being? What more can I do for my community and their well-being? What more can I do for the planet and the well-being of our planet? And essentially, that's where Definity was born. I am an expert in change management. I've had a corporate career working with a large IT company for 7 years, helping people change. And I think I feel as if everyone wants to have that transformation. Everyone sometimes wants to change, but it's given people the tools and the reassurance and the guidance so that they can actually make that change. And so there needs to be support and tools around people to help them actually change. So that's the background I come from. I also recognized a few things in my career along the way, which was, sometimes in my corporate career, I didn't always see leaders being heart-led or caring about their people or caring about the planet. That was very much driven by shareholder value and always thinking about profit. And I really believe we're living in a time where that needs to shift. Profit at all costs needs to shift, and our business system and how we do business has to change. And I really believe the B Corp movement and B Corps are driving that change, and also social enterprise. But I really believe that B Corp is a fantastic way to help you make that change happen. So yeah, basically that's how Definity was born, and through my own personal experience, I really wanted to educate young people, because I believe, one, if we're helping businesses of today, then that's going to help where we are right now. But for the future generations coming through, what's the system that we need to work on? What can we challenge around the education system? What new things can we create for young people to get this information sooner and to really empower them? So that is what Definity is all about and how it came about. We're very much a values-led business. I come from a place of love. I come from a place of non-judgment. I truly believe that every single person on this planet wants to do good, but I think along the way we've lost our way. So it's coming back to those values, and really sharing these values with you and being your guiding partner and being the person to help you change you as well as your business. Every single time we take customers through this B Corp process and framework, it is transformational for that person and for those people that are working on it, because they start to really understand what it takes to build a business that does actually have a positive impact on everyone. And so we love that. We love seeing the transformation. We love working with people and being that sort of guiding partner as you work your way through everything and assess your level of change and assess what you can change, and all the things that you can implement, or even if you're doing good, how do you become better at the things you're doing well. So we're very much a values-led business, and we want to connect with other people and organizations that are on the same path. So what is a B Corp? Essentially, B Corps are really redefining what it means in business. They are setting a new standard to have a positive impact across how they treat their workers, their employees, their contractors, everyone that makes up the team, your customers, suppliers, how you work with ethical suppliers, or how you make sure you're using local suppliers, the impact you're making in community through your business, and also the impact you have in the environment just by providing your product or service. So what we're finding is that B Corps are absolutely driving this shift to make it a more inclusive and regenerative economy. Like, we are seeing that these businesses are coming together for the greater good and being a force for good through their business. And so they're very much focused on being purpose driven, as I said, having a focus on people and planet and making profit, because together, when you have that balance and you have money in good hands, you can actually make a very, very powerful impact as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO. So just to share some B Corps that you might recognize. Some of these are large B Corps, some of them are small and medium businesses. Just so you know, this is growing very quickly. So as of recording this in February 2024, we're actually just over 8,000 certified B Corps globally. 162 different industries across 92 countries. I think that's phenomenal to have a movement and a community that's all coming together to really redefine what success means in business. I would say I've been involved in this movement for the last 5 or 6 years now, and I have seen it massively grow in the last 3 years. I really believe people have had a bit of a rethink or a reset of what's important, and people have changed, their values have changed, what they value in terms of well-being, in terms of the impact they have. I really believe we've had a reset in values, and that in turn is having a reset in business. And so I really believe that's why we're seeing such a massive movement and momentum come from the B Corp community, because all of these people are joining together saying, right, we've got this incredible business. Yeah, we might sell a product or service, but what do we stand for? How can we work together to actually have a bigger impact than just profit? And so there's just a selection of the B Corps. You might recognize some of them, you might not even know that they were B Corp. But I think what's common is that I find now, because I aim to shop looking for that B Corp logo, is that I really, as soon as I see it, I understand what's behind that, and the effort and the resources and the time and the money that's gone into making that happen, and the amount of change that's likely gone into making that happen. So I fully understand that, and I really believe, with that knowledge, I know how much is going into it, but I really believe with the marketing of these B Corps, everyday consumers are getting to recognize this B as well, and they're gravitating towards companies that go beyond profit, that make more of an impact in their own ways, that maybe are fighting for a social injustice or maybe an environmental cause. Like, it really is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and I can really see why. So what are the benefits for you for becoming a B Corp? So I would say it sort of comes down to these 6 benefits. Number one, you get to differentiate from pretenders. I really believe that a lot of people out there, especially businesses, say they're doing good, but really can't back it up with facts and evidence to prove that they're actually doing good. So I would say just by going through the process, whether you become a B Corp or not, obviously that's the goal of most people, but it really is an amazing way to get all your evidence together to show your community, your customers, your team that you are different from other organizations. When you say you're doing good, you actually mean it and you're backing it up with action. So I really believe that going for the B Corp certification allows you to differentiate with people that really don't want to put in the time, the effort, or the money to make it happen, because obviously it does require those things to become B Corp certified, and obviously some changes along the way. Number two, you get to reconnect and articulate your core values. Every single time I go through this assessment with clients or customers, they absolutely reconnect to why they started the company in the first place, the values of that company. I mean, you really go back to the core, and I sort of call it the nucleus of a company, and where the heart comes from, the beginning part, the core. It really does emphasize why you started in the first place. And I think becoming a B Corp is is actually fairly aligned to most people that are looking into this as for certification. So I think it's a really powerful tool to just remember and reconnect with what it means, like why you exist in a business, what problem is it you're trying to solve, what social or environmental impact are you trying to solve, and remembering that. Number three, you get to benchmark your performance. So you would have seen some of the B Corps there in the previous slide, but you get 8,000 other companies that are essentially, they're the benchmark. So if you look at a Patagonia, you know, their score in terms of their B Corp certification is available, as is all the other B Corps. You can actually benchmark where you're at with some of these brands and companies that you admire and respect, and you know that they're very strong. And for example, making an impact in community, or you know that they're very strong in the environmental space. Like, you can actually look at these companies and you can get that information. And one of the things I'll say, and it sort of leads on to point 4, is find your community, is that, you know, becoming a B Corp and showing and being transparent, that's one of the main things that B Corp does, because your assessment is once you're certified, is available online. Not all the details, but your score for the different elements of your business across those 5 different areas of, like, workers, community, environment, customers, and governance, that's available. And so what I love about this community is we're very much, you know, united in this one set of vision and goal to redefine what success is in business and create a more equitable, regenerative economy, but also they're very giving. Like, people are very giving with what they've changed. You know, for example, you know, a few months ago I saw that Allbirds, which was a New Zealand brand, they make trainers, and they actually shared the full profile and detail of their first, like, fully recyclable shoe trainer and what they said was, you know, we are obviously leading in this industry, but we want to share that with other companies so that all the other companies in this industry is doing the same. And I really find that, like, I really find that it's less about competition, it's more about collaboration. It is more about a community. It is more about uniting with those like-minded people that sometimes your way of doing business, maybe in the past, you're a bit like, this makes sense to look after people. This makes sense to, like, look after my community. But, you know, previous years, you might have been with other CEOs or entrepreneurs or organizations that weren't like that, they didn't think like that. And I really believe this is bringing together those minds and those hearts that actually truly feel that and want to do better and want to collaborate rather than compete. They want to share so that we all get better together and we all collectively have this amazing impact on our world. So number 5 is you get to partner with peers around the world. I think that's another benefit and sort of lead on from community. I've seen many partnerships formed between B Corps. It's almost like when B Corps get in a room, because they know you've gone through the process of becoming one, it's this, like, unwritten rule that we can do business together. And you'll see many collaborations with large companies, small and medium business. It's important to note, actually, that I would say the majority of this movement has been driven by small and medium business. has not been by the large organizations. And I think that's really powerful as well, because it's coming from the ground up through these small businesses that have created real change. And now we're starting to see this collaboration between really large companies that are B Corps and small and medium enterprises, and they're learning. These large corporations are learning from small and medium businesses, and equally small and medium businesses are sort of looking forward to collaborating with these larger organizations that want to change, that want to be better. So there is definitely that opportunity to partner with peers. I also believe that it goes beyond just doing business together. What makes marketing sense or brand sense or product sense is that, even here in the UK, the B Corps have got together to really drive legislation change and lobby in Parliament to actually mandate that every business has a purpose that is for the good of all. And that's really come from, B Corps that all have that in mind, but equally because they want to make sure every business that starts to form in the UK actually legally needs to do that as well. So not only are we sort of driving the business world, but we are influencing legislative things as well. And it could be that, it could be something else, like you get to partner with peers with things that really mean something to you. And number 6, attract and retain talent. This is huge. I really believe, and I've seen every time a B Corp advertises for a role, there's so much more demand than I would say any other company, mainly because people want to work with purpose-led, mission-led, heart-led businesses that are doing good, because it feels good. It feels good to be a part of those organizations. And I say, I'd say every generation feels it, but especially our younger generation coming through, they do not have time for companies that are just causing havoc in the world. Like, it's just a big no-no. And so having B Corp certification, there's many sort of stats out there that are showing whether you're B Corp or not, but more so if you're B Corp, you've sort of got that third-party certification that says you do come from or are adhering to the highest social and environmental standards. That's what young people are driven by. They want to see that. And so the percentage of young people that are working or aligning themselves with organizations that are B Corp and have the highest social and environmental standards is really becoming a thing. So what does it take to become B Corp certified? Essentially, there's a couple of requirements. So the number 1 requirement is you have to measure your social and environmental impact. And the way that you do that is through what we call the B impact assessment. And by the way, just to let you know, the B stands for benefit, the benefit of all. So B Corporation, benefit corporation, B impact assessment, that actually stands for business impact assessment. However, generally B Corp, it means benefit. So the BIA, that is roughly about 200 questions that you have to answer. It's a completely free tool. It's like a bit of software. You log in, you can register, bimpactassessment.net. You register your business, you see all the 5 different sections. So governance, workers, community, environment, and customers. You'll see those five sections. It's really intuitive. It's really aesthetically pleasing. It's easy to use. And essentially, you've got all those questions in that impact assessment. You have to go through those questions, provide evidence for each thing that you've said yes to, and then out of that, get an impact score of over 80. So as you're answering the questions and you're selecting the answers, your point score will immediately start to update. The goal is to get through all of those questions so that you can see your impact score, and hopefully all going well be over 80. And that's when you can actually submit your assessment to B Lab. So B Lab is a not-for-profit that looks after the B Corp community, started B Corp certification. So that's what's required as the first one. The second one is accountability. You absolutely have to legally commit to this way. So there's something in Australia and New Zealand, we call it the purpose statement or stakeholder clause. In most other countries, we call it the legal requirement. So this basically means you make an amendment to your company constitution that says, we will legally commit to being a purpose-driven organisation and we will look after all stakeholders in the process of building the business and making decisions. And that includes workers, it includes your suppliers, your customers, your community, and the planet. Now, this is really important, I think, because legally, you're measuring your social and environmental impact to adhere to the high standards, but then you've got this legal accountability that says, I'm going to hold ourselves accountable. What's powerful with that, especially if you're a business or a startup that maybe wants to build and scale and sell in a few years, or you're thinking about that legal commitment stays with your company. So although, we can't control people's behavior and we can't control situations where companies are sold and maybe things change, that legal update to your company constitution does hold merit, and it does hold some sort of legal accountability that can help the company, keep its culture, keep its impact, all of the things that maybe you've worked hard to build in the company itself. So the last thing is transparency. I've mentioned this before, the B impact report. So all going well when you've gone through the assessment, you've submitted, you've done your legal update to your company constitution, and you still, after B Lab have verified all of your answers and your evidence, if you're still over 80 points, then you become a B Corp, and you have to have your B impact assessment available on the B Corp directory, so your score is transparent, so that other people can see what score you got and where you scored highly in those 5 different areas. So that again is just really important in terms of being really transparent about where you're at and where your social and environmental impact is. Now, I won't go into too much detail on this, but what I will share is just a little bit more around the B impact assessment and the different areas. So you'll see here the 5 different sections. Governance, you'll see what that sort of focuses on. You'll see what workers focuses on, community, all the sort of questions and environment and customers. You'll see the types of things that will be covered off. I just want to talk about something that most people don't know. Like the B impact assessment is not one size fits all, because you'll see, just from the B Corps that have been certified already, there's so many different industries, there's so many different sizes of businesses, from, sole entrepreneurs or founders or sole traders to multinational companies. So one size does not fit all. So this assessment is a bit like a bit of software. And so when you select one question and say yes to something, it could open up a whole other bunch of other questions. And so there's 74 different versions of this assessment and different ways it could go. And sometimes you don't realize when you answer to something, all of these other questions will appear and you're like, where did those come from? So this is why. So the majority of the questions in the green, in fact, all the questions in the green are operational impact questions. The little blue plus signs basically are opportunities to what we call opening up impact business models. What are impact business models? These are really unique business models that you have as a business that have a high social and environmental impact. Now, not all companies are going to have that, but I think it's really powerful to know about this, because when you start to open some of these up and become educated on these business models, these could be potentially things that you aspire to in the future, or you might already be doing, but you've just not documented or formalized it enough. There's different things that I think this is really beneficial for. So just so you know, not every assessment is the same. Different questions will open up for different types of businesses in different industries with different business models. And that's the difference between the questions. So it's really, really important that you understand that. And I will just quickly say one important tip, really important that you make sure you're on the right track. So when you register for your B Impact Assessment at bimpactassessment.net, make sure you select the right industry and the right sector so that you get the right questions that come out at the other end. That is really, really important, because I've seen it a few times where a company selected the wrong track, they've got all the way through to the end of the assessment, they're on the wrong track and they change it again. So really, really important, make sure you're on the right track. So how do we help in Definity? Essentially, we help you through the entire process, from starting and registering in your assessment all the way through to hopefully at the end becoming a B Corp. We can't guarantee that's over to B Lab to verify your answers and your evidence, but we help with gathering all of that and making sure that you understand the assessment, making sure you understand the questions, make sure you're uploading the right evidence. So we are here as I'm a trained B consultant So I've been trained by B Lab to actually take companies through this. And we have other consultants that are experts in all the different things that you're going to be working through. So essentially, we will help you go through the assessment, answer the questions. We are really passionate about getting you through the questions as quickly as possible, because you want to see where your impact score is. If you're sitting at 40, then we obviously know we need to improve a lot on certain things in your business. If your score is about 100, and you know that's amazing, then we can sort of say, right, you're ready to sort of submit with this evidence. So it's important to see your score, and you know, 80 to 90% of people give up halfway through this assessment because they get overwhelmed. That is why we exist. We want to help that with that overwhelm. We want to help you get through the questions, get through this process, because it is rigorous, it is tough. Meanwhile, you're trying to run a business and do all your day-to-day things. We want to help with that sort of overwhelm. So we'll help you go through the assessment, all the different sections, and make sure you understand the questions and you've got the right evidence. As we're going through it, we will suggest impact improvement. So there'll be certain questions and there'll be certain answers, because there's multiple answers to each question. And we might say, you know, do you do that? And you'll be like, no, we don't. So we can't say yes. However, we may say, well, if you did X, Y, Z, then you could show enough evidence by the time we submit this assessment to say that, you know, you've done it. And so we will give you those little changes, examples, templates, all of these things to help you improve your social and environmental impact across all these different areas. So we tend to do that as we go, because it means by the time we get to the end, your score is reflective of those changes that you've agreed to, that you can actually implement in time for the submission of the assessment. So we'll do that. All going well, we will then submit your BIA. That then gets handed over to the analyst. There's a couple of months wait time. So essentially, a B Lab analyst will pick up your assessment. They'll start to verify your answers, and they'll start to comment on things in the assessment. So we'll get notifications. We want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on that, answering the analyst back so that they can verify every single question. Now, they won't verify every single question, but they will verify a lot. So it's important, and I think it saves you time. It definitely saves you time by getting the evidence done early in your questions, so that when that analyst randomly selects a bunch of questions and wants to see the evidence, we've already got it in there. So that's what we work on, is really, really good evidence. Now, all going well, the analyst will be, you know, probably like 80-90% through verifying most of your assessment, and then they'll ask for a review call. So we'll go on a review call together. It's normally about 90 minutes. They'll ask you some more questions. We'll verify a few more things. All going well after that, if you're still over 80 points, then you will get B Corp certification, and then B Lab will send you all the details to get the logo and how to incorporate that, how to share it, and just everything about the next steps of what happens next. Now, we also want to make sure that we provide ongoing support. If you didn't know, you have to recertify every 3 years to become a B Corp. So we want to go on that journey with you. We have got a package that offers ongoing support. So once you've certified, it's not a case of, right, let's just forget about that and we'll revisit it in 3 years, because there's so much gold in that assessment. There's so many things that you'll learn. So we want to make sure that we take some of those learnings and implement that into your business strategy, into your marketing strategy, into your, you know, social media, how you communicate that with your community and your customers and your employees in terms of employee engagement. There's so much opportunity to really leverage the B Corp certification and embed it into your organization. And then more importantly, identify ways that you can keep improving your social and environmental impact through those 3 years. So we want to make sure that we do that with you, and we want to make sure that we're also sharing things with you. There might be, you know, there's so many things happening from a social and environmental point of view for certain industries that you have to do certain things. Like, we want to make sure you keep on top of that, and we share information with you to keep your journey going, to keep this journey of you know, committing to that infinite change. That's why Definity came around. Definity, the word, is basically two words coming together, making defining decisions and committing to infinite change. So we want to help you do that. make defining decisions, commit to infinite change, and keep becoming better and better, because there's always room for change, there's always room for growth. So in terms of pricing, just so you understand the breakdown, this is in UK pounds, but we obviously work with clients in different countries, so please reach out to us if you want the pricing for your country. In terms of B Corp certification fees, this is paid directly to B Lab. So when you submit the assessment, so the assessment is free to use, and then you only pay £250 once you submit your assessment with all your evidence. Then you will see on that link, and this is the same for different countries, you can go to B Corp, whatever country you're in, see the pricing, and it will tell you your annual fees. Now, this is a sort of equity pricing model where the more sales that you have, then the higher your annual fees are. The less sales that you have, the lower your annual fees are. So if you take, for example, a business, its annual sales between 500,000 and 999,000, the fees will be 250 to submit, and then the remaining, all going well, you get your certification, you pay the remaining annual fee to B Lab for the verification, and then every year after that you pay 1,500 to keep your certification. So again, that's different for different size businesses. You can click on that link or your country link, and you can go and see those annual fees that you need to pay to B Lab to keep the certification. Now, in terms of our pricing, how does that work? We offer consulting packages. So the first, or different ways to support you. The first way is obviously this webinar. So we offer this for free, or a discovery call so that we can chat with you to see if B Corp is a fit for you and you're ready to go and embark on the process. Level 1, we do and can do workshops. This could be for your team, it could be for your leadership team, your board. Like, it's really an education. And if you really want to do a workshop as a team, then we can do that and offer that to you as a package. And then if you want to have consulting where we actually work with you, like I said, from the beginning all the way through to the end, we have sort of done the same sort of pricing strategy as B Lab. So we want to make this accessible to as many businesses as possible, from really small businesses up to large multinationals. So our first package starts off, if you're a micro business, as we call it, it's 1 to 4 employees, starts off at £3,000 and then keeps going up depending on the size of your business. Now, the reason we do that is because the more employees you have, the more questions open up. Also, it tends to be that businesses, we also look into if you've got any business models, like I said in the assessment before, because if you do, that opens up more questions as well, and there's more work and there's more evidence that we need to gather in order to verify your business model. So again, different packages for different levels of businesses, and obviously different business structures, you know, so we want to make sure that we cater for those differences. And also, and if we are a large business, 200 employees plus, that is a bespoke proposal. So come to us and we will do a proposal for you. And just lastly, as I said in the beginning, we have a double mission, and 10% of our profits go to our social entrepreneur collective fund. And what we do is we either partner with organizations to educate young people about social entrepreneurship, or we're actually creating our own online program to educate young people, basically 14 to 18-year-olds, about social entrepreneurship, B Corp, all different kinds of things to help them understand themselves more, know their strengths, and know that the difference they can make in the world with these tools. So that's what that money goes to, and every year we do 10% of our profits. And this is just some of our clients, just to give you a selection. Again, very similar to the B Corp movement. We have very different clients from different industries. You know, we have hairdressers, from financial services businesses to cybersecurity, to lawyers, to cacao making companies, like very, very different. And I think that's the beauty, again, of the B Corp community, is that different industries and different organizations all come together in this sort of united way to become better. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening to this webinar. I really, really hope that was useful. If you've got any questions, my email is michelle@definity.co. Our website is, of course, definity.co. You can have a little look there. But thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you soon. And congratulations on getting curious about this movement and getting curious about B Corp. I really, truly believe that this movement, this framework, this blueprint, everything that's within this, it has got the ability to really shift and change hearts and minds in business. It's not perfect. No one is perfect. However, I do believe it's the best framework and best blueprint that I've seen in business for a long, long time. So all the best, and I'll speak to you soon.